Thank you for joining us today on Positively Charged Biz. We are here to motivate, inspire, and support our listeners as they write their life stories. We are a proud founding member of the Real Disrupt Podcast Collaborative, and you can check out more awesome podcasts at realdisrupt.com. Hey everyone, I hope you are having a positive and productive day. Today we have a very special guest that is not only going to motivate you, he will inspire and challenge you to be the best version of yourself. I would like to introduce you all to Shawn Harper. He is a former NFL offensive lineman who played a total of 7 seasons with the Rams, the Oilers, the Colts, and NFL Europe. Since 2004, he has owned and operated American Services and Protection, a multi-million-dollar security services firm headquartered in Columbus, Ohio. His journey from grit and sweat of the NFL locker room to the corporate culture of the boardroom proved that he can win in both worlds by using many of the same principles and strategies. He's also the author of The Winning Edge. Shawn, on Positively Charged, we like to start at the beginning. So please take us back to when you first had that dream of being part of the NFL, and what did it take to get there?
Well, awesome. First of all, thanks for having me. This is a huge blessing. I count no opportunity as just random. I don't believe in coincidences. The word dream is very interesting because outside of, in my opinion, God and love, there's nothing more powerful than the dream. Dreams are absolutely essential. Dreams are greater than time. Dreams are greater than time.
That's a bold statement there, Shawn.
Dreams transcend every spiritual law of nature. Yeah. But in reference to when I first discovered my dream is probably the second year at junior college.
Okay.
And I had a goal, or I had a fantasy, a lofty dream, early on playing, professional football one day, But the second year at junior college, I made a definitive decision that, a specific decision that I'm going to play in the NFL. And it's very interesting because there was nothing around me that validated the dream that's in me. But nothing becomes dynamic until it becomes specific. And the NFL, that's where I'm going. And once I locked in on that, everything began to line up for me and against me.
For you and against you. Okay. So, all right, let's take it back even a step further.
Sure.
You had a very supportive mom growing up, right? You had some challenges, and you come from family saying, listen, everybody has challenges. It's how you deal with those challenges, right? So how did that give you the foundation to allow you to dream as you're in junior college?
You know what, that is a very intriguing question. Because what I'm hearing you ask me is what was the foundation that gave you the permission to dream?
That's right.
Yeah. And so mom, there were a lot of negative voices growing up, learning disabilities, drugs, I don't even talk about all that as much, but there was a few of them. And one of them was my mother. And it was so amazing because my mom would always say, son, one day the world's going to know who you are. She would always speak that over me. Son, one day everyone is going to know who you are. You have what it takes, son. Believe in yourself. She would always speak that life into me. But on my part, I chose when I made that decision to pull from a few people, mainly my mother, and to focus on her words versus focusing on everyone else's negative words. You have to make a choice with that because you can never grow past your name. And once you begin to focus on, well, this is what my mom says, this is what she's naming me for greatness, you move out of creation and you move into something much more powerful, and that's manifestation. So Yeah, I love it.
That is powerful. That is so powerful. And, for so many reasons, and whether it's mom, which we all love the moms, whether it's mom or whether it's whoever it is, whether it's your partner, whether it's your friend, whether it's your tribe, whether it's your team, right? Maybe you're part of a team that has given you that. But you're right. Once you believe that you are destined for greatness, and we are, every one of us, we all have that special, unique gift to the world that makes a difference, whatever it may be. And also, Shawn, I thought it was very interesting in your book where you speak about how we're all winners because
Yeah.
we were born.
Yes.
That is such a unique perspective. So please, speak to that.
Oh yeah, yeah. Uh, uh, my new concept, my old saying used to be, "You're not born winners or losers. You're born choosers." But I had to basically abolish that because I now believe that everyone, we are all born winners. Uh, each and every one of us, you are 1 to 2 to 3 million sperm cells. You're the one that fertilized the egg. Okay, think about that. You are all a million, millions, but you are the one, right technique, right strategy, right tenacity that got to the egg chose you, you went in, you won. Now, this is why we are so enamored and we're attracted to sports, the competition. I don't care where you are, what city that you're in right now, whether it's NFL or a AAA team or a soccer team or a baseball team. If that team lost every single game for the next 5 years, you could walk in and pick up a ticket. But if that same team won every single game for the next 5 years, I don't care who you are, you're not getting a ticket. Think about that for a second. As much as you love the team, as much as you like the team and the players, there's something deeper than love. There's something deeper than like. It is a part of your DNA to win. Gambling is a multi-billion-dollar industry. And they're sitting on the slots when I fly into Vegas and they're losing money or they're making money. They're not trying to be successful. They have on sweatpants and they don't care. They're trying to win. My son, he loves video games, right? He loves video games. He plays video games all day, right? I got to kick him off the game and kick him outside, do something, right? Why is that? It's because we are programmed to win. And unfortunately, that has been stripped, or it will be stripped from us by the time we're in the third or fourth grade. About the time Santa Claus is not real, you realize that, right? You're introduced to a success model, and the success model pulls from a portion of you. It doesn't pull from all of you.
Okay, so speak to that. Take me to that period of time because yes, totally understand what you're saying, but go a little deeper as to what happens at that point.
So at that point, you're taught in our educational system that in order to be fulfilled, you have to become successful. And in order to become successful, it happens usually one or two ways, usually in economics, or it happens through fame and fortune. And so you have to pursue this type of an occupation. In our culture, we will elevate occupations that make a ton of money. And we will glamorize and worship people who are extremely popular, the leadership, persons at the top, and all that energy, everyone's motion is pushing towards a small little window because our culture has valued that production. Our culture is based off of production, it's not based off of reproduction. But a winner understands that he or she has to, in order to live, you have to give. You have to
100%.
Who you are, whether that's a mentor, whether that's just encouraging, whether it's just a simple teacher. God bless our teachers. Our teachers should be valued way higher. But you know what? There's no prestige in that. Pastors or people who help people, and man, they should be at the top of the scale. But you know what? Doesn't quite jive as far as the pay scale and the production scales. So guess what? We're not going to value that. So now people make the sacrifice. They sacrifice for success instead of the win. And so a lot of people are in their jobs or in careers that they have not been meant or were not or has not been meant for them because they're looking for a success model versus a win model. Now, the thing about success is so dangerous is that success is not static, which means that, I could be in Columbus, Ohio, where I'm at right now. And, if I had about, $2 million, I'm doing all right. If I take the same number, the same $2 million, and I go to Manhattan, yeah,
Not
fine.
the same.
Or if I take the same $2 million US and I go to Dubai,
Oh,
God, right. So now guess what? It's not static, it's always moving. So now whoever's defining it has control. And the most insane part about success versus winning is that if and I hope this is not offensive to you or your guest, is that God didn't call you to be successful. God called you to win. So there's a big difference. He didn't.
so it sounds to me like you had some epiphany happen at some point where your mindset changed.
Yeah.
So tell me, when did that happen?
So I had a discussion, and
Okay.
the discussion was, well, guess what? You don't have the grades. You left high school with a 1.62 accumulative GPA, 9 on your ACT. Like I had the gall to take the ACT, right? 9 on your ACT. Okay, number two, you're a sub-average athlete. Not even honorable mention all conference. Okay, you're in the back of the room eating that nasty cordon bleu, and those guys are getting all state, all city, all universe awards, right? And then you are just getting the participation award. That's number two. You come from the wrong side of the tracks. You're not poor, you're po. Okay, and so everything that is stacked against you, according to the world, how are you going to become successful? There's no way.
Right.
There's something in me, the seed. The seed is like, you're greater than this. You're you're greater than this. Yeah, I know what they're saying, but you're greater. And so at that moment, I said, you know what? You're right. I won't be successful, but I can win.
Huh?
And once I switched over to the win model, I begin to like MacGyver life, right? I begin to other people aren't. I begin to see opportunities different. I begin to see things that the average. I remember having a conversation with my roommate, and this is a real live factual conversation. He said, "Shawn, if you're good, they'll find you."
Hmm.
I, oh, really? I pulled out a sheet of paper. I wrote 200 colleges. I said, "My name is Shawn Harper. Here's my phone number. Here's as my coach. Here's his number. Um, Look me up." I wrote 200. I said, winning mindset finds what everyone else is doing and they do something different.
I
And
love
so
it.
everything I did at that moment was like insanely different. I took 200 credit hours in one semester. 200
Whoa.
hours. No, I'm sorry, not two. 2200, 22 credit hours in one semester. I said, you know what?
That's intense.
Now,
Yeah.
yeah, it's just so everything, I started doing things different. And here I am today.
Wow, that's wonderful. And it really is. I mean, I think we all agree. Mindset is probably more, it almost is more important than having the intelligence or the education, even. You know what I mean? I think that you can have the degrees, you can have, all of that behind you. But if you have the wrong mindset, it won't matter. So it's so interesting to me that that's so important to me. And how do you keep that going, Shawn? I mean, obviously you made the transition, you made it to the NFL. So I mean, you accomplished the dream, you did what you set out to do, you went through all that, and then of course, now you have to pivot. Now you have to go from that passion and that love. And we all know that there's not a lot of 60-year-old, NFL players. We know at some point you're transitioning to something as you get older. So how do you take what you learned from that and apply it to the corporate world?
It's the same game.
Mm.
It is think about the corporate world from a C-suite or a owner perspective. Did you get the contract or did you not get the contract?
Right.
Did you make the quarterly estimates or did you not make the quarterly estimates? If 90% of all businesses go out of business within the first 5 years, are you in the 90% or are you in the 10%? It's the same game. It's win-lose. It's not, well, no, it's win-lose. And so now I was able to take some of the same concepts I've learned in the NFL, and I was able to bring them into the corporate world, which is mind-boggling to so many people, because in the corporate world, they're like, well, this is how we're trained, and they give us our goals, and I'm like, what? I don't think in goals. I think in strategies. I think in tactics. Like, let me give you another example. I am so amazed that in corporate America that they don't study the competition. They put all their energy in what they're doing. And I'm like, when I played football, we spent between the players and the scouts at least 40 to 60 hours studying the other team. We knew everything about that team. And whatever we could find out, any information. He ate pizza last night. He ate pizza. He eats pizzas on Thursdays. Okay. I mean, we knew, his mom's name is Lois. I mean, we knew everything about the opposite person. Right now he's having marriage issues. Anything. These are this player's tendencies. This is his strategy, his mindset, his makeup. He passed the ball 3 times. Okay, when he passed the ball 3 times, he usually throws to the left. Mm-hmm. We know our competition. So I was able to bring that mindset into corporate America. So I own a security firm. I know my competition. I understand their pricing structure. I understand their weaknesses. Don't do a strength weakness assessment on me. I'm doing it on my competition, and I'm finding a niche and I'm sliding in there to win. That's just one of a lot of things that
that's very strategic. That definitely is very strategic and part of it. And then I guess, tell me also about developing your team. I have to imagine that applying some of the sports side to corporate, a lot of that is also creating the culture and the bond and the teamwork amongst all of your players, right? And all of your teammates.
Yeah. So that was a big struggle for me, to be honest. Okay. Because I'm leaving a culture where there's 90% D on the disc. Okay. These guys are like win, kill,
yeah, whatever it takes.
Destroy. I'm like, raw. We're like warriors. Like, we're a bunch of just, can you imagine a locker room with like 40 to 50 guys like raw?
In the corporate world, no. No.
Like raw, and you're like, I'm gonna go see HR.
Tone it down.
Right. So now what I had to do, and what I'm still working, because you know what, this is a work in progress.
Of course.
This is a work in progress. I'm a work in progress, right? But I had to realize and understand people. There's a saying: if you know more about people than you do yourself, you'll be unusually successful. You will win. Okay. And so I had to understand people and their different temperaments. And so I mentioned D on the disc, right? That's one of like several different programs. But when I begin to study different temperaments, and I begin to understand different temperaments and how to motivate different temperaments and how to like not turn off different temperaments, then I was able to now create teams. I was able to create teams around temperaments. Or I would build a temperament of individuals around a particular goal. If I have, that I need for my teammate on our team to, to really reach out to the clients and talk, I'm not going to have a D person do it. Okay. She's like, is it done? Good. You're going to hang up, right? So it's just building that. But the second thing I was able to do.
But Shawn, just to piggyback off of what you said, it takes acknowledging that it's more important to understand the other people than making it about yourself that defines true leadership. Because if you are working on building a team, number one, it's not about you. It's not you doing it. It's the minute you can identify the best place for that person to be placed for them to be successful, for them to be the best version of them, you will win as a leader.
Yes.
So that is a very, very important piece.
Yes, yes. And also with that, the leader has to understand he or she. You have to understand that who you are and who you're not.
100%.
Okay. And, don't try to use your authority to go into someone else's, that's not your strength. That takes a lot of humility. Mm-hmm. And now, it's like, okay, how can I pull? How can I extract? As you just mentioned, great job on that. So, to figure out what works. And football is easy because we have linemen, we're big. Mm-hmm. Okay, you get the quarterback, you have the line, and they all have different roles. They all have different sets. They also see things, it's just, but in the corporate world, it's not. And you have to say, okay, here's the objective, and this is where we're going. You know what it's like, honestly? It's like I'm like really dating myself on this. It's like the Super Friends. Like it's
the Unite when they come together?
Because each and every superhero has a strength and
they do. And so do we, Shawn. Every single one of us has the same superpower. It's just the hesitancy I see in people is that sometimes it's easier for us to emulate others than to truly take the time to understand what our inner strength is. Sometimes it's easier just to say, I want to be like that person, whatever I'm seeing out there. But that's not why we were put on this earth. We were put on this earth to actually shine our superpower. And like you said, when you pull them together, that's when the magic happens.
And you just threw a word out earlier, right? And I was like, man, I hope we can come back to that. And that word that you threw out was culture.
Yeah.
Now, having, as a leader, since we're talking about leaders, having a culture that will allow people to grow, because you can have a great seed, which is your potential, but if you have the wrong pH in the soil, it's not going to grow. It just won't. So a leader creating a culture, and the secret of the culture, the secret in the sauce is trust.
Yes.
Have an environment that is trust. That always I can give an idea and not get like destroyed. I can share, I can open up, and I'm not going to have people criticize my weaknesses. Like I've never seen an episode where all the superheroes were like, man, Superman really needs to for this kryptonite thing,
Get over it already.
Okay, it's just a green rock,
So before great track, on the same page, now I have to ask, we're speaking about how we want to lift people up. We want to give them the right pH to be able to grow. Let's talk about failure. Let's talk about, we all know not everything goes according to plan. And certainly we might have the best laid plans and it doesn't go according to what we expected with team members, with business, with personal, all realms. How do we deal with that, and what do we learn from that experience?
You mentioned the word failure.
Mm-hmm.
Failure is your friend. There's some things we have to unlearn, because in school, it was the antithesis of winning in so many ways. School teaches that failure is bad. School teaches you that collaboration is bad. You can't look on your friend's paper. That's collaboration. That's cheating. It's no, failure is your friend. Think about how life teaches you how to do things. Think about how you learned how to walk. You learned how to walk because you fell down.
Yeah.
Think about how you learned how to ride a bike. You learn how to ride a bike because you fell down. Life gives a test, then it teaches the lesson. And so you have to be able to embrace that. Listen, the average millionaire has filed for bankruptcy, according to Google, 3.4 times. Yeah. So failure is your friend. You have to fail. And that is a prerequisite. You have to fail and you have to have adversity. Failure teaches you, adversity prepares you.
Hmm. That's a good way to look at it. Absolutely. And you're right. I mean, listen, if you're going through the motions and you're just doing the same thing, you're not experiencing those that adversity that you have to learn from, that, like you said, prepares you for that next thing. And there's so much. I mean, look at what we've all learned. We're going through a pandemic, right? We have all learned to adjust and how to do business differently and how to do everything differently. And we adapted. And being able to adapt and being able to go through the struggles and learn from that, that's what makes us stronger and better and puts us into new situations. So completely 100% agree. Okay.
Yeah.
So what happens? I know you said, you also need resistance to grow. Like that's also part of it, right? Having that resistance. So let's speak about, listen, we've all gone through challenges and different things over this last 6 months or so. So let's speak about that resistance.
Yeah, it's one of the phrases is that I love is that adversity can break you, but it also can make you a record breaker. Adversity, resistance strengthens you and it prepares you for the next level. It's so amazing. I meet people who maybe have fell into some money, and I'm watching them where they fell into running a company and they don't have the fortitude, they don't have the stamina because the process prepares you for the
Right.
level. The process equips you, the lessons that you learn, the heartache, the pain prepares you for the next plateau. So imagine that here's the plateau and this is where you want to go. The worst thing that you ever want to happen is you're placed here one day.
Yeah.
But here you are. There's nothing to sustain you. The average person who wins the lottery is broke within 2 or 3 years. There's nothing to. But when you come up through the ranks and the pain and the process, and now you're here, you're able. You have qualified yourself to stay there.
Yeah, that is such a valid point. Everybody thinks that success is magical. It all just appeared, but we all know that struggle and that grind that we did, all of the mistakes and the times when we fell down and it didn't go according to plan. You're right. That you would never want to change any of that ever, right? Never.
That is my knock. Honestly, that is my knock against my industry, motivational speaking, and that is my knock against the entertainment industry because they show all the glimmer. They show all this is, I'm number one singer and this great, all this, I'm so happy in myself. And
here's my huge house, my car, and everything's perfect.
They show the pain.
Yeah.
They and had they or if they would ever show the process and the pain, some of us won't even, what, it's not worth it. It's not worth it. They don't talk about the process. They only talk about the product.
Right. I think that's a very, very good point. So what do you do differently? Okay, so you're out there, you're speaking to a group of people. What's different? How do you approach it?
Wow. One of the ways that, and this is really close and personal, is I always pray for authenticity.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm always speaking from the heart. And it's something about speaking from your heart, really wanting to, encourage and invest. It kind of rejuvenates you. Okay. And I pray for humility. That I'll always have a, humble heart. That I'll always like getting that last bite of a pizza. The first bite and the last bite's always the best, right? I'll pray for that first bite experience every time I get on the stage. I don't want it to be an autotomic or automatic response. I want it to always come from the heart. And I pray for that. Keep it new, keep it fresh, keep it exciting. And that has really, helped me not to take advantage of the moment, not to overlook the moment. Yeah.
Wow, I love that. And I can certainly feel your authenticity. I can tell that it's something that you're very passionate about and that it does come from the heart. So it is, I can feel how genuine that is. It's a word that has been overused, especially the last year, that being authentic. But when it truly is authentic, you can feel it. You can feel it. There's a difference. So yes, it is genuine, and that is for sure. All right. You also speak about, daring to be different. And I even mentioned it. I mentioned that I notice people try to emulate. And I think I think part of it is having a fear of showing your true self. I've also mentioned this year, it's ironic that we now all wear masks because I think we have always been wearing them. I think people as a society has been putting on a shield and showing the world what they think the world wants to see, but it's not necessarily who they truly are. Right. So what is your perspective on that?
Yes, and well, I hate to knock our educational system again, but
I'm feeling a theme here, Shawn.
Because we don't celebrate diversity.
Right.
We celebrate conformity. A lot of schools have uniforms.
Yeah.
A lot of schools, this is how, you are supposed to dress. Let's kill all personal expression. Let's, discourage, your uniqueness. And if you act too unique, then we're going to write a letter and then we're going to get you on some drug to kind of dumb you down a bit because we need conformity.
Control.
And it's so disheartening and discouraging. I think one of the saddest moments of my life. And wow, I mean, just I homeschooled my son from kindergarten till the 5th grade, and I put him in school, and he comes back to me the 3rd day. Oh God, breaks my heart. And he said, "Dad, they're killing my creativity. I was just like, man, they're killing it, Dad. I can feel it. They're killing it. How can a 5th grader know that?" And it's, it is so amazing because we criticize uniqueness. And at the same time, when we're adults, we celebrate uniqueness.
Right.
Like we like Michael Jordan because he was unique. He was the best.
Yeah.
We like Michael Phelps. He was the best. We like Mick Jagger. He was different. Prince was different. Sade is different. Yeah. It's like, wow. But at the same time, when we're growing up, oh no, you can't wear that. Look at you. Oh my God.
You might stand out. Yeah, you stand out too much. You're causing attention, right? You're having people look at you.
Seen and heard,
That's right. That's right. Yeah. So that, I think you're right. That's where it definitely starts. And going into corporate. I mean, corporate America, I do a lot of work with women. I run women's organizations. And we find that girls actually excel usually in school, okay? They absolutely crush it. They go to college, they're getting higher level degrees, they're graduating at the top of the class. But when they go into corporate America, they're the first one that quiets their mouth.
Oh, that's interesting.
It's afraid to speak up.
Wow.
And all of a sudden, they were at the top of everything. And when they're put into these corporations with a lot of people that don't necessarily look like them, right? Obviously, we know diversity is an issue within a lot of corporations. A lot of people don't look the same. And they kind of squash and they conform and they go into, they speak about having a seat at the table, right? Allowing people to have a seat at the table. And many times I see people sitting away from the table. And it takes a lot of courage in yourself and confidence to move that chair to the table and open your mouth. So you're right. It's so interesting that that's the world we want to be in now, right? That everyone has that feeling of being themselves, being confident in who they are, sharing their gift with the world, and never being afraid to leaning into themselves.
Yeah.
Absolutely. All right. What, Shawn? I want two things before we go. One, I want to know one piece of advice. Just give that one piece of advice that you want to share with everyone.
You know what? Let me think. One piece of advice, is that if life is a game, you play to win. Everything that you do, and the fact that it is a game means that you can win. You can win, because if it was impossible to win, then they cannot call it a game.
I like it.
It's a game you play to win, and win, not if. Win. Okay, I'm sorry. I gotta go back to that. Even in adversity, even in this climate, right now, somebody's winning.
Yep.
Right now, I looked. I follow stocks. Do you know? And we're on Zoom.
Oh yeah.
Stock is down
through the roof.
Listen, paradigm shifts are the
what great opportunity. Look at the opportunity. Exactly.
Paradigm shifts are the leveling field. They level and they reassess and they balance everything. Think about the paradigm of the internet being born in 1990. My God. All the companies, they're Amazon is based off of that. Okay. Mm-hmm. Search engine, Zoom is based off of that. Think about
Yellow Pages thought will always be around, right? I mean, right? We thought there would always be a phone book or a
daggone it was like bigger than the encyclopedia. It was on your grandfather's desk, like this big. Everything was
with an all those advertisements, right? Where you're looking up the plumber and
My son said, "Daddy, what is that?" I said, "Son, that is this big now. That's the Yellow Pages." Huh? Gone. It ain't even 30 years.
Yep. That's right.
In paradigms. And number 2 is persistence through resistance. When you get knocked down, if you can look up, you can get up.
There you go. All right. So now, Shawn, tell everybody where they can find you, where they can follow you, where all of that. Share how we can hear more.
Yeah. So my website is shawnharper.org, SHAWNHARPER.org. You can go to any search engine and type in the name Shawn Harper. It comes up. But that book that we were talking about, The Winning Edge, I happen to have that on digital. So if you go to Shawn, SHAWN, ShawnHarper.co, ShawnHarper.co, you'll get a free copy of the book. It's yours.
That's awesome, Shawn. And I love the book. I absolutely love the book. I had so many takeaways and really great job.
Can I ask, though, a favor?
Of course.
This is my selfish side coming out, right? I have to work on this selfish side of mine. So I have this Instagram page, right? It's Shawn Harper Speaker. I would love for your community or tribe to follow me on Instagram. That's it.
That's an easy ask. That is a very simple ask. So everyone out there, obviously we need to do that because Shawn has provided such great insight, and he also is giving his digital version of his book for everyone. So it's the least we can do. So we absolutely are dedicated to that for sure.
Thank you.
All right. Well, Shawn, this has been absolutely amazing. You are a true pleasure. Thank you for everything that you're providing to the world. You're certainly a light to the world, and we wish you all the best in everything that you do.
Thank you so much. Be blessed.
Thank you for joining us for another episode of Positively Charged Biz. I'm Laura Brandeo, and we are here to motivate, inspire, and support our listeners as they write their life stories. If you have an inspiring story, please email me at laura@positivelycharged.biz. And remember to subscribe to hear more great guests. And connect to us on Facebook at Positively Charged and Instagram at Positively Charged Podcast. Until next time, we wish you a positive day.